if you'd like to just introduce yourself first, let everyone know who you are.
My name is Roland, also known as PsyRo, that's my producer name. Part of MKR, which is Musicalkillah Records. We're a brand new group on the scene, planning to take over the mainstream.
My name is Matt, aka Saint. I'm a hip-hop artist. I've been writing music for 21 years.
Saint, he's been doing this ever since he was about 13 years old, writing lyrics and into this different type of hip-hop. It's not really the same hip-hop that you hear on the mainstream. It's more underground, his style. As soon as I heard him, once we met, I'm like, listen, bro, you need some new beats, get some mainstream type of beats with your type of lyrical content. We can go straight for the mainstream. And that's how it all started.
All right. How long ago was that? Was that a couple of years ago?
That was about 2 years ago since I started actually producing for him, making beats.
So how was it that you and PsyRo first met and then started Musicalkillah Records?
It feels that almost everything that's happened and is happening has happened for a reason. It feels as if, best way to explain it is, it feels that everything that is happening or is to happen has already been written out, and the universe is just kind of throwing everything at us at the perfect timing. I mean, it was about 5-6 years ago now. I started working for an air conditioning and refrigeration company in Northampton, and I had this random one job I had to go to, and it just so happened to be a good 4-hour drive away, so I had to go and pick up Roland and driving 4.5 hours to this job. Didn't stop talking, connected straight away. We were quite similar characteristics, and we've never gone back from there. You know, we clicked, we synced pretty much instantly. I told Roland, you know, I like music, I'm a lyricist. I put on some music through the aux lead on the van, showing him, you know, what I do. He's like, oh my God, man, you know, you're so talented. I want to be involved. And we ended up creating this WhatsApp group, calling it Musicalkillah Records. And I explained, you know, my whole life, I always wanted a circle of friends around me who sort of believed in me that much. They were willing to sort of get involved and learn skills themselves in order to help us as a whole grow. And PsyRo was that man, you know, and it all kind of started from there.
So what was it that you were doing before you realised that this was kind of the direction you wanted to take?
I'm an engineer, doing air conditioning, but obviously that's not my main passion and goal to go at. Since I heard him, I just figured that with his lyrical content, the only thing he's missing is the right beats. So I started making beats, and pretty quickly, since I'm really passionate about it, we started getting really good at it, and now we're at the point where we're about to start releasing some really good music.
So is music something you've been passionate about for a while yourself personally, or is it something you've kind of grown into?
Personally, I'm from the States. In the States, I moved out. I'm originally from Hungary. I moved out to the States when I was 12 years old. As I was getting a little bit older, 16, 17, 18, started doing DJing. I was DJing trance, techno, house, that type of music. Once I got introduced to hip hop, it took over the whole thing. What I'm trying to do now is mix these two different sounds into one and bring a whole new sound, a whole new genre onto the scene of the mainstream music.
He kind of came away from, he used to DJ and make beats back, you know, years ago. Then he came away from it for a while, so it's almost as if it's embedded in him as well. And when he did live in Northampton before he moved up here to be closer to us, his first beat was called The One. When I first heard that, it blew my mind, you know. I still kind of moan at him today and be, mate, we need to get this out there. And he's like, oh, it's my first beat. Like, bro, it's a quality beat, you know. So you'll all be hearing about that some point soon in the future. That's for sure.
So what drew you to the kind of the genres of music that you're talking about there? Why was that? Why were they the genres that you chose?
I'm looking at it like this. If you're looking at mainstream hip hop and rap nowadays for like the past 10, 15 years, the content is really not where it's supposed to be right now. In 2020, we're still talking about the same exact things in our songs that we were talking about the past 10, 15 years. There's no innovation. We're not moving forward to a different type of sound, and where we're actually interacting with the audience and talking to the audience about current issues, just like how hip-hop was. The original hip-hop used to talk to the community and discuss issues that are relevant to the community and to the people. And that's what's, personally, my opinion, is what's missing out of the mainstream music. You find a lot of underground stuff that's pretty good and talking to the people, but it's missing out of the mainstream. And obviously, the mainstream is what gets pushed onto people, and that's what you're listening to all the time.
I was obsessed with Tupac when I started writing poetry. And what made me obsessed with him, not so much obsessed, but I resonated so much, I connected with his music so much, and that was because his lyrics and how he brought it across, how he metaphorically spoke, just to bring across these certain emotions, it touched me. And how it touched me, I knew it was touching multiple people around the world, and I wanted to be a part of that. I wanted to change people's lives. I mean, we've all gone through, we've all suffered one way or another. And I've had some suffering in my own life, and from experiencing that suffering and kind of feeling alone in that suffering when I was younger, I just want to let other people know they're not alone, you know?
So what would you say that you're doing differently to try and innovate the genre then? What is it that you're trying to say?
What I'm doing as a producer for Saint, I kind of infused rap, hip-hop beats with chill step and electronic sounds, because our whole goal is to attract a broader audience instead of just sticking with the hip-hop and rap fans. So I'm trying to infuse it with different sounds from chill and electronic that catches the ear, that are very melodic, but at the same time, with Saint's lyrical content, he's bringing so much positive message to the people. And we do no curse words in our raps, his raps. So basically, we're doing radio music with a positive message to switch it up a little bit, because it's just been the same exact thing for a long time.
Just simply listen to our music compared to everyday other artists that you hear on the radio or on multiple different platforms that you download or stream or whatever, and you know, let the listeners reach out and tell us themselves what they've taken from our music compared to majority of other people's music. It's just, we don't talk about drink, alcohol, you know, materialistic things. It's more, again, power of the mind, spirituality, empowerment. It's we talk about things, I talk about things that I just generally don't hear anymore, you know? It's like with Tupac, he talked about what went on the streets. And I definitely looked up to him. And because I looked up to him so much and he spoke nothing but truth pretty much in mostly all of his songs, I followed him that way, you know? So yeah, I don't really talk about materialistic things, clubs, girls, money, this, that and the other, you know? It's more of the everyday life things that truly does matter.
Basically, what we're trying to do is communicate to the people instead of what most of it, I say about 80% of the music that you hear today is people talking about themselves. talking about status, talking about cash, talking about stuff that's pretty much not connectable with the actual audience, because the audience doesn't have millions of dollars to spend on Rolex watches and cars and all of this type of things. And I think this is a spot that's been missing in the whole mainstream music industry for a long time. And that's what we came for. This is why I started making music, because I just see there's a place and there's a lot of people that are saying the same exact thing. We're missing people that are talking to the audience with relatable stuff. I can relate to this, I can relate to that. But when you listen to mainstream hip hop and rap nowadays, majority of the people cannot relate. I cannot relate to you spending 250 grand on your car or this and that. So we're bringing real music, connecting with the people. The music will talk for itself. Better person will be sane to reveal some of the lyrics in it, but the main message is positivity, uplifting, and looking around and always searching for the answers and the truth.
Obviously, each song has its own meaning, has its own messages, has its own metaphors, has its own feelings and emotions to attach to those specific tracks. It's the same as movies. You can watch a horror, you can watch a comedy, depending what genre of it you watch, depends on what you receive from watching it. Because I write so much in metaphors, it can speak in so many different languages, in so many different ways, where so many different people could pick up one metaphor multiple different ways, you know?
Yeah.
So that's probably the best way for me to answer that.